We had a 1959 Volkswagen microbus. It started out red and white. It had little windows all around the roof line, and it also had a rag top that you could pull back. My father said it was overpowered.
Oh yes, I thought it was going to fall down, fall apart. The thing hardly made it up a hill. Yeah, it'd go puttering by here, and you'd hear it too.
I think it started out with a 40 horsepower motor, and he put it in a larger 65 horsepower motor, and I think he put in another motor after that. And he said all of them had way too much power. And that Volkswagen bus later turned green, like a lime green. Remember, it was red with primer spots on it. But we would take that Volkswagen bus
everywhere. Dad did his National Science Foundation grants. During the summer he would go to, Houston, Texas, or Chicago, or other places, and they would go across the country in this bus. They'd camp in different places, and they had it all set up nicely so they could live out of this thing. Noel had, he was, 1 or 2 at the time, had a bed across the back above the engine. It was nice and warm there and vibrated nicely. We slept nicely there. This was before you required seats or something like that.
I vaguely remember parts of a trip to Houston, Texas. I vaguely remember a trip to Michigan. And I just remember being in the back with Sandy and later Tim, and the Volkswagen bus would be cruising along at a high rate of speed of maybe 60 miles an hour, and we'd going through the mesas of Arizona or something like that. It was a good vehicle, and I thought everybody had one. But it was a nice vehicle. It always seemed to break down, but Dad always seemed to be able to fix it too.
We went many miles across the country in the VW bus, and we had something called a Mush gum light that he would switch on and off up front, but he led us to believe that the light would go on and off if we said the words mush or gum. It was mush for on and gum for off. So we would, on our vacations, on these long drives, we would play mush gum, mush gum, mush gum, mush gum, mush gum.
Mush gum, mush gum, mush gum, and it would blink on and off. And we didn't realize that it was the first voice-activated switch in a Volkswagen vehicle.
And he would switch it on and off. Anyway, it's added some entertainment to the long drives.
They had a hippie van, they had a Volkswagen van, and we had a Econoline Ford van. And so we met them in Ann Arbor and then drove on over to Niagara Falls. We were on the American side at Goat Island, and there was a little tour that you could do where you'd go down to the bottom of the falls and then kind of walk across some rocks, and the spray would come up. And Bud and I didn't go. We had 2 little people, and Sue was pregnant with Tim, and I don't think Noel, he was too little too. So Sandy and Bill went, and they had their yellow slickers on, and we could see them. We could recognize them from the rest of the people. And they were down at the bottom of the falls, and they stopped. I'm gonna cry because I remember it. And Sandy just held her hands out. It was so cute.